Okay. Okay, I think we're live. So we are back. 6:52. There's still a hotspot thing going on at Tragedy Springs. Hopefully Sarah Luna and Matthew Henderson on their way there are okay. A lot of the aircraft are off it. There's a couple still hovering around though.
Got another half an hour on station here. Okay, by that cabin over there. I'll give you this one and then we'll go over there for the next stop.
Okay, so we're trying to figure out what's going on over here at Tragedy Springs. They've been circling the intersection. And welcome back. I'm so sorry it kicks people. Yep, Tragedy Springs. What a lovely, ominous name to be fighting a fire at during a mega drought. Mega fire during a mega fire. Mega fire during mega drought at Tragedy Springs. You know, a bunch of these hot shots are going to be telling stories about this one and the pilots. So that one time at Tragedy Springs, when it tried to cross 88, man, I was there. And we were right next to this really horrible, like, cliff edge. Man, it was a 8,000-foot drop straight down. I thought that if we got overrun, we were like, man, there's nowhere to go but 8,000 feet down. Like, you know what I mean? But really, this is a sketchy place to fight a fire. That is one heck of a frightening drop-off. There's plenty of structures in the way. There's the Silver Lake Places or Place Resort, Silver Lake Stockton Camp. There's a lot to save here. And they're losing their light.
Mark Twain, LZ, reach 17.
A lot of stuff down there. A lot of cabins, homesteads, and beautiful countryside blues. So there's a Sikorsky that's heading around there. There's a lot of granite around here, but a lot of trees too. A lot of thick brush. Yep, it's the new stream. Every 12 hours I have to restart. Hi, Emma.
Mark Twain, LZ, reach 17.
Weren't you here for the rest of the day, Emma? I've been at it since 7 in the morning. We just reached the 12-hour mark, so I restarted it. If you hit the subscribe button with the ringing bell, you'll know when I go live. Storm King Mountain was like that. Oh God, Urban Interface, that's sad. Storm King Mountain is a tragedy. I can't even bring myself to watch the movie. I think they lost a crew of 20 hot shots on it because there was nowhere to go.
Mission Hotel, West Elko Airground.
They changed their policy. No more hot shots in a place where there's no escape. But it was something that had to... People had to die for that policy to be enacted. Safety rules are written in blood.
You probably know about over there just inside the Division break, Hotel India break, around Section 8.
Section 8.
It is in the black, but it's unburned, kind of dirty black with road access. Probably 20 by 20, just finding some new opportunity in the surface fuels, putting up quite a bit of smoke. If you were to see it, I would say don't be alarmed, but if you had a spare resource, it might buy you peace of mind to get in there and check it out.
Does he mean 8 by Silver Lake?
Kind of like 2 sections due south of drop point 40, and pretty sure it's like section 18, just mile and a half east of drop point 29.
Barbara, I'm so sorry. My dear friend caught COVID on assignment at the French fire and he just died. Last month we were awarded $607,000 for a fuel break project. I will get it done in his honor. I'm so sorry, Barbara. Yeah, I feel like that's what he would have wanted. Oh man. Some give a lot and some give all. It's just like the military. Oh. Wow. Yeah, it's just, I'm so stunned by that. I'm so sorry. There was a new fire at Diamond Springs, and it seems okay. Seems totally okay now. It was 18, not 8. Okay, that sounds better. 18, okay, right. 18 is where it's at. Yeah, hit the like button, guys, please, to make it so people can find this channel. Every video has to have a bunch of likes. It's just a stupid mathematical formula YouTube has. Somebody can type in Dixie Fire or Caldor Fire info and not see this video. Even though it's live and covering it, they'll see the videos that got a bunch of likes first, like from earlier in the day, yesterday. But if something gets a lot of likes at the same time, YouTube goes boing, and this mathematical formula promotes the video higher. Don't ask me why. But yeah, let us know, Barb, if you need anything. And we're here for you. You know, a lot of looters have been caught by the Ring doorbell. 6 of them were caught in Tahoe today. They're almost all, I don't want to say Ring, but, you know, security cams, like the home ones that people buy. And a couple were caught by, you know, better, you know, more robust security systems. But they caught 6 looters that way. Yeah, there's a, you know, readyforwildfire.org is probably where California has that stuff. I don't think bears usually open a front door. If they break in, they break in, you know. Although they are really good at opening car doors, as I was informed today. I mean, they don't manipulate a door handle. They don't have thumbs, do they? Right? I mean, do they just push in? Now, when my friend's cabin was broken into at LaPorte, the bear went straight for the refrigerator and left out a mess. I'm pretty sure they won't close it. I'm pretty sure they won't close the refrigerator after themselves. It got in there and ate all their peanut butter and drank all their beer. It just pushes the door open. Car doors, they manipulate it with their claws. It's like, what the heck? I just Googled it, and it apparently is something they do, like car after car after car, opening them. Yeah. Them and raccoons, they got dexterous little claw tippy claws. The bear opened the beers. It didn't bite them. It opened the beers. It's just, they paw at it, it rolls around on the ground, and eventually one of their claws hits that tab. And it ran around, it put its paws in some blackberry and raspberry jelly, and it tried to get out, like it forgot how it got back in. It tried to get out and got up on a bunk bed and tried to push itself out of a window, and it put its paws and left the berry juice paw prints all over and smeared all on the window. I guess maybe it was drunk, but I mean, that wasn't that much beer that it drank. I mean, they're big, you know. Yeah, cinnamon bears. They could be a light brown, and they're neat looking. Yeah. Yeah, it opened their beer. It just verified. Like, I'm not making it up. It opened their beer. It was cans, and I think it was Milwaukee's ice something. The bright blue cans. They were everywhere. You know what I bet is attracting them is this.
9 Romeo Hotel. Let's give it about 15 more minutes and then head for the barn.
I think it's the rotting food in the fridges. Don't feed them. Don't feed them. Don't dispose of food where they can get it. That'll doom them. They'll become problem bears. They'll approach people's cabins, break in. They'll approach campers. They'll freak out people and walking around their tents. When they associate humans with food, it's a bad situation. Don't let them feed off trash. Don't, if you can help it. Readyforwildfire.org is a good place to go. Calfire.com, you know, I mean, they'll have so many resource links. Now here's the Logtown camera where that other new fire was at earlier. I'm just going to take it off there because I don't think it's a factor anymore. I think ground crews got on it real fast, which is a blessing. Imagine if that had, guys, it was southwest of Placerville on 49. Imagine if that had broken out on a red flag day. Just, wow. Exactly. A fed bear is a dead bear because they can't put the fear of humans back into a bear. It doesn't work. Bears will forever follow around people, get close to them, growl at them, threaten them, even attack them because they'll just sit through the trash. Imagine a kid taking out the trash at night and just a bear is there. Startling one. The cubs are there. The mother reacts. It's not a good situation. So they'll have to be euthanized. There's just nothing you can do. So a fed bear is a dead bear. Scare them, keep them wild, don't feed them. Don't habituate them. You're not helping them by feeding them, but besides, they're going to feast. It's the herbivores right now that are hurting. You know, vegetation is being burned. Bears are eating the dead carcasses of many animals. Yeah, they're not the ones that need to be fed. I don't know what the herbivores are going to do. They'll migrate around looking for pasture, but it's not good for them. So we don't see any hotspots moving. We know that it's south of the line on 18, which is somewhere right here on the road-ish, somewhere right around here. And I'm hoping to hear more about them fighting it, but we don't hear a lot. look at here's the flat map, and you go, huh, where's that? This is what shaded relief really shines. You're like, oh, that is a, what, 5,000 foot drop right there. Yeah, rated, I bet. That's, I can't show too much, like, copyrighted stuff.
Elko, air attack on West Rotor. Back, West Elko. I'm sending my guy back in, about 10 minutes, and then we'll be down on this side. How about you, same? Same, we're going to get everybody on the base at 1945. Copy. And how's your viz over there? It's totally acceptable. I would say it's maybe a 38 miles. Okay, copy.
Raoul Duke, the power's off.
Pardon? Hey, I'll meet you on CFR real quick. Actually, I'll meet you on briefing. You got that 126375?
Power's off 72 hours for us. North Upper Truckee and Myers Bear broken twice over 10.
West Elko, briefing.
I'll check this out. The Rude Tube YouTube channel features animals behaving badly. That sounds great. I need comedic relief. I used to watch those meme videos. Oh, what was that? Animals acting gangster or something? There was a funny video called Birds Are Jerks, and it was showing like things like parrots picking up a pencil and poking a dog in the rear, and the dog yelps and goes away from its food, and then the parrot eats the dog food real quick. That can be helpful for stress relief with stuff so dire and dark as a subject as this. Dusty says, been watching most of the day. The Caldor fire never produced a column big enough to break through the smoke layer that I noticed. It had little poofs. It tried. It was weird. It was like a whack-a-mole type head sticking up, going back down. Yeah, Birds Are Jerks is a funny comic relief thing. There's a lot of videos of the bears of South Lake Tahoe. Yeah, they flee the direction that the smoke is, and the fire's to the west of them. Okay, Cotter. I'm reading the channel. Rated, it's probably a good idea to make a lot of noise. If your door is open or something, you make a lot of noise. If you hear rummaging around inside or brrr, kind of sounds, then maybe there's a bear inside. Just maybe. I've seen the crazy security videos. Wasn't there a stag that tripped a motion detector, and the security at the police showed up, and it was a deer rampaging through the house, just full rack of antlers, just going nuts and breaking every dish in sight and jumping over the kitchen island and kicking itself around on the bar and the cupboards. And a deer in the house is actually going to do more damage than a bear, probably. Yeah, don't stand in the exit door. Yeah. Yeah. So, Sarah is going to drive to the direction of Tragedy Springs. I'm going to tell her don't go past Silver Lake's North Shore. It's kind of a death trap alley. There's nowhere to shelter up there. The fire seems to be over 88 at, what is that intersection? Mud Lake Road. And just don't go that way. Stick with cruise.
We're at Yankee 9 Romeo
sure.
Hotel. One more drop apiece and we'll call it a day.
Oh, one more drop. Okay. That's Hotel Tango, though. Did he say Yankee something? Yeah, Pots and Pans worked for us camping at Loon and Silver Lakes. Yeah. Wow. Rated said the bear at my friend's house knocked the door off the hinges and the deadbolt flat on the floor. It was a brown bear. Yikes. Cindy P, hi, welcome back. Hi, I'm a few minutes behind in the video. I just learned when searching on YouTube there's a filter button. You can filter live or by upload date, and that brings up most current videos. Cool. That's a new feature. Yeah, wear bells all over yourself, like bear bells on the hikers' backpacks. That's really good. Just don't startle them. You know there's a joke about that though, right? It's just a joke. Nothing meant by this, but there is this old joke that friends, you don't need to bring a firearm into the woods. All you need to do is bring bear spray, which is super pepper spray, and bells, and put it all over your backpack, and then you'll be safe from bears. And then, like, it was the Far Side comic or something like that, and it showed a bear, and they were talking amongst themselves, and they're like, so, tell me about this new food source that you found that's so swell. And the other guy says, and the other bear says, dude, they come with their own dinner bell. They're kind of hot, but I like them spicy. It's a better joke that I told. I think the Far Side calendar also had like 2 polar bears, and they were eating, taking bites out of an igloo. And it was like, dude, I love it when these have a chewy center. I'm like, oh God. My mom got me that calendar, and she goes, do you like it? Do you like it? And I'm like, Mom. Raul Duke, it's different life in Gold Country. My friend picked up 6 strays at the shelter after that. He let them roam the hills. Actually, the neighbors did that. Strays of what? He went back. Cool mom. Yeah, she's cool. Good sense of humor. If not slightly concerning. Okay, heat detections. So, is Kristen still here? Is there still helicopters that can be heard? Still got red.
Hotel, one hot spot on the very top of that slump over in the rock. Looks like a warming fire.
A what? Warming fire?
In the top.
Okay, he was talking about Section 18 earlier. Which is this. It was over the line to Section 18, just where exactly, I don't know. Hoping he'll describe it a little better. Oh, Kristen, yeah, he's brave. I'm a chicken. Oh, wow. I didn't read the thing that Dusty said. Dusty, you're dark.
Girl.
Remember, you don't have to outrun the bear, just your husband. Kristen says, like, he's brave and I'm a chicken. Wow.
Tomorrow, maybe, if it doesn't go out on its own. Look back for the barn.
I woke up at 11 p.m. I'm tired now. Gail M says I must be really wasted because I don't get it. Just relax. Can you please send me the map? It's on my iPad, which is charging. Sure. Okay. Let's see. Guess I'll email myself map. Does email work?
Nice split drop there for it, Yankee. Yep, head for the barn. We'll follow you in.
So it's getting really smoky towards Carson Springs, was saying. Lorna Wade says my friend at Echo Lake used to hang whistles around her kids' necks.
West Elko, go for Placerville Helibase.
Roaming around, she kept one herself to call them in. Whistles are great in the wilderness. Those hurricane whistles. Because if you're lost and you start yelling, eventually you lose.
Copies all. We have you positive AFF. No traffic at this time. Winds are light. Light at your discretion.
You'll lose your voice and you can't call back when they call for you. And always have a flashlight, even if it's not dark yet. You don't want to be without one. You don't want to use your phone and use up all the batteries of flashlight. Okay, sorry, I gotta send this map to Sarah. She is going towards the Tragedy Springs area right now. I think it's good advice. Don't go south past Silver Lake. That's a death trap alley. And stick with the crews. I'm just going to tell her now that all aircraft's going home. Okay, send up an email. Hang on, I'll be with you guys in a minute. Ah!
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Jeez.
Got it.
Okay, gotta upload this map. Okay, so there you go. Right click, and you go to where is find in folder? Dang it.
We'll get a family photo. Sounds great. Romeo Hotel, are you good with me forming up on you?
We'll get a family photo.
I'll just hold my head in here and 7500. There we go.
Screenshotting this for her. Okay. Do 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 do. So I have a new thing. When I'm doing something.
Helco West Rotor on West Rotor Victor. Go for West Helco. We're on our way back to McFarland. Jared, we'll close it out here with our rotors. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay, yep, and 2 Hotel Tangos making his way back to Placerville. Yeah.
Two huge files. Okay, send. Sent. Sent on your own now.
Hotel Tango Air Attack, you up on TFR?
Nothing in the air. That's what sucks. If there's nothing in the air, then people on the ground, like journalists, who could,
Hotel Tango Air Attack on TFR.
As well as the ground crews, just don't have that added safety. Somebody looking out from above. Okay. Oh, Amber, you sent me photos I didn't even see. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Oh, thanks. Air Cab.
Amber sent photos from Herlong Junction.
Okay.
Wow. These are good.
Sure.
Wow, it really tried to come down right there. That air attack that...
officer, I will do a little circle here.
That was captured by, captured on film by... Excuse me. Oh, why do I have to cough and sneeze at the same time? Sorry. Sarah Luna. God. Sorry, guys. That Sarah captured earlier showed how they just kept it back with the helicopters. Pretty amazing stuff. So we're at that point in time where the infrared will start kicking. Thank you. The infrared will start kicking in. We'll be able to see a lot more of the fires through these cams. Yeah, car horns and burglar alarms. Yeah. The thing about a black bear is this: if they are attacking you, they'll usually mock charge you to get you away from cubs. But if they are pursuing you, if they are running to get you, especially if they don't have cubs around, they're trying to kill you. That's a predatory attack. They are not like grizzly bears. Playing dead is only going to get you killed. You have to fight a black bear and fight to the death. Grizzlies are there to eliminate a threat, like grizzly with cubs sort of thing in general. That can work. Playing dead can work.
West Elko, Placerville Helibase, Air to Ground Command.
Not with a black bear. They rarely attack humans, but if it's happening, it's happening.
Yes, sir. Just looking for information on guard ship 841. Has he departed the area? 841 departed approximately 45 minutes ago. My apologies. South Lake Tahoe and then Torino. Helibase copies. Thank you.
Anyway, if a black bear is upon you, fight. I never got the lowdown. Wow, look at Logtown camera. I never got the lowdown on the wasp knife. Has anybody ever successfully defended themselves from a bear with a wasp knife? It sounded intriguing. It's a knife like a big dagger that has a hollow center, and in the handle is a CO2 cartridge or something, something that's very, very cold. And if you hit the vitals, I think you hit a button or something, it puts freezing cold air in the chamber of the chest cavity and will try to kill the animal by freezing its vital organs or some situation like that. Or maybe it was, no, I think it was CO2, that it would explode the vital organs with a explosive charge or something nasty. Yeah.
Attack Placerville Helibase. We're out for the night back to McFarland, and the rest of the helicopters are working their way back in. Helibase copies. Thank you. Have a good night.
So let's look at Portola. I'm not sure what the best thing to do is. There's so many different ways. If one's upon you, you can turn to the side, put your hands up to the sky, and say, "Bear, I'm your friend. Don't do it. I'm just your friend. Don't do it. Bear." You talk to it, you sort of look over it, you look away from it, look over it, look away from it, but you put your hands up. Look big, put your hands way up. Just kind of like a big V. And you keep talking. Then you edge away, just back away. And that's in some situations going to work, but if you're getting like stalked and charged, well, you gotta fight. The wasp knife, let us know how it works. Yeah, I'll just go try to test one. I can't imagine it's legal in a lot of states either. But seeing the demos of it, oh my god. You don't have a lot of options for firearms and stuff for protection from bears in California if you're not a resident. I don't believe you can carry as a non-resident in the state, period. Like, no matter what kind of permit you have. Thus, the weird inventions like the wasp knife. Jeannie Webb says, my understanding is Chester Fire had the water tender truck spray all the houses down with retardant from the street, and it was on the news. Wow. Yeah. I would try it on a pumpkin. That might be fun. A bear warning poster, J.E. Cat says, now J. Cat, you have such a dark twisted humor that I'm afraid to look at anything that you post. Oh, it's not showing up for me. Yeah, amazing, Braden, what a difference a week makes. It feels like I have been doing this for like 2 years. When I look at the Tamarack fire, I'm like, that was July? It's the Dixie started July 14th. It's somehow September. Just seems like 6 months ago that Grass Valley was in danger, and the river fire at Colfax. Yeah, look at the Dixie, how it, see Dusty, how it just poofed up there? The plumes kind of went up above it, and just a couple of poofs. Especially early this afternoon. Wow, USAA Insurance got fire retardant sprayed on their roof while they were evacuated. Wow, that's cool. H. Will says, sorry you were up from your all-nighter. Well, you were still up. You know, I'm about to crash, honestly. I get adrenaline rushes when new developments happen, but when they calm down and I don't hear anything. Bears hate high-pitched whistles. Someone should invent bear whistle alarms. Yeah. What about dog whistles? I mean, that's about as high-pitched as you can get. On federal land, you can carry firearms, but then don't you get completely in trouble the moment you take one step onto private property? Or I don't know how that just does. That seems really sketchy. Like you can get in trouble really easily. Hopefully I can get a few days worth of rest. That's what I want. Yeah, Kristen says I didn't realize Sarah Luna was with the same woman who was with Matt until today, praying they're safe. I didn't either. I thought Matt still was towing around that German guy. Yeah, it started July 13th, right. I went live on the 14th. How many days is that? Time, date, calculator.
Tango, Helco. Yeah, sorry, we're landing assured at the Halo base. Sir, we're coming right behind you. Thanks. So you are.
What? Shut up about my ad blocker.
Not sure who's going to get there first, but yeah, I got your side off.
I had 3 days off, and I've been covering the fires for 52 days. An average of about 15 hours a day. To 17. Man, I couldn't do it without you guys, that's for sure. Caldor fire briefings in progress. Oh. Did we miss a lot of it? That should have happened at 5. Isn't the Dixie at 7:30? And wouldn't it be on Cal Fire Amador? Where, Saturday? Yeah, it should have been at 5 p.m. and they should have posted it here. 7:30 is, I think it's, Forest Service. Yeah, crap.
So those are the 2 areas here that are concerned from a fire behavior standpoint that we've had the last couple, and the big concern is
Just start from the beginning.
Fire is.
Here we go. Dixie Fire East Zone.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for Dixie's Fire Incident Update. My name is Kim Osborne, Public Information for Great Basin Team 1. First, let me bring you up to date with the latest numbers regarding the Dixie Fire. The Dixie Fire is currently at 889,000 acres with 55% containment, and there are currently 3,820 personnel assigned to the incident. Our first speaker will be Incident Meteorologist Jack Messick.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. All right. The weather for the past couple of days has been quite helpful. We had our wind event at the end of August, and it continued to be breezy for the first couple of days in September. But the last 2, we've had high pressure move over our area. And what high pressure does is it generally the winds are lighter. You tend to be more sunny and warmer because the sunshine gets through. But the air is also more stable and stagnant, which means if you have a fire producing smoke, it is harder for it to disperse, especially at night where it collects in the valleys. And that is exactly what we have now. And we will be having that for not only tomorrow, but through Monday. So we can expect more of the same. We are in a warming trend where temperatures, more and more of them at the lower elevations, will be getting into the 90s. And our relative humidity is pretty much staying where it is. We have, every afternoon, we've been getting humidities below 10% for a good portion of the area. And overnight, what we call humidity recovery, if we wanted it to be really good, it would be in excess of 50%. But even down in the valleys where you tend to have the higher humidity recoveries, it has not been that good every day. And up in the mountains, it's been especially poor, where the relative humidity stays below 30%, which is quite dry. And so that means that these fuels continue to dry at night. Fire will continue to burn. It will not self-extinguish because the moisture content becomes too high. And so we continue to get lots of smoke and lots of fire going on. So I'd like to take a look at this weather dashboard. I call it the weather dashboard because it's like the dashboard on your car, if I want to explain this. The more yellow and red lights you see on your dashboard, the more concern you have. And in terms of weather, we're using the same thresholds to indicate some level of concern. And you can see there's a lot of red and yellow on this chart, especially once we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. So Sunday and Monday, very hot, very dry, and that's the primary reason for the red lights there. And we have some winds, but they're nothing we can't handle too badly. Gusts into the 20s, especially the low 20s. Most of that happens on ridges. And so it's very limited in its coverage. And these are the peak gusts of anywhere on the fire where we're fighting it here on this team. But then on Tuesday, we have a different animal coming in. We have what we call a dry cold front. It'll be sweeping through Northern California on that day. We call it dry because it doesn't provide a lot of moisture and usually just provides what we call dry thunderstorms. And that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't rain at all. That means the rain amounts are less than 1/10 of an inch here in California. So this is sweeping through, and about really all it's going to do is provide some clouds, which we haven't seen in a while, and it'll kick up the winds. And so the winds will be out of the southwest, and they'll be gusting in excess of 30 miles an hour with such a cold front. Any moisture that comes out of this will be left on the coastal ranges, between Eureka and the North Bay. So we're not looking for any additional moisture, but it does cool the temperatures down. The trough will pass probably late Tuesday into Tuesday night. And then on Wednesday, as is typical behind a front, you can get some really gusty winds to continue for about a day or so. And so Wednesday also looks fairly windy. Temperatures are falling, but that doesn't really help the fire a whole lot. So it will take a while, but the winds will cease. And then on Thursday, Friday, we are potentially looking at some unstable, more moist air coming in on for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which may produce some showers and thunderstorms. But we'll see. That's a long way out, and often that forecast is very difficult to get a good feel for until you're within 24 hours of the event. So expect that forecast to be very changeable, at least at this point in time. With that, we'll go to fire behavior.
Good evening, Tobin Kelly with Fire Behavior. So I'll talk a little bit about kind of the west side of the fire. That's been very quiet. As we mentioned in the past, when we get the fire underburn, the conifer trees doesn't consume the whole canopy, but it does kill the needles, and that needle cast falls down, and it does get thick enough, and on a hot spot, it'll produce smoke and actually produce some low-intensity surface fires. So lots of the smokes we're seeing out in this country and even starting to be over in this country is due to that needle cast dropping down on some hot spots. No real threat, but does produce smoke and very low-intensity fire. So as I said, most of this area, is looking very good. A lot of patrol, mop up, and things like that. And Devil's Punch Bowl here above H60, that fire's been fairly static. It's still moving around, but not really moving to a great extent. As we walk down Grizzly Ridge and all over to Turner, a tremendous amount of work went in there, withstood that north wind. It's looking good. Every day that's looking better. So that's being very quiet out here. The most activity that we've seen is kind of this northeast finger of the fire. So yesterday we did get more northerly winds, and it pushed out these two fingers of fire down through the Coyote Hills and then down south of the 01 road, and it's sitting on kind of the north end of Horton Ridge right now. So today, this fire did back down against the wind, and so this is pretty much all filled in. Not a real factor for any kind of growth out here, but just filling in between these two fingers. Over on Horton Ridge, this fire was coming over on the west side a little bit, but also falling over on the east side. That is a concern tonight and tomorrow for wanting to continue to potentially push down and east over towards the Dixie Valley. So that's one of the areas of concern. The other place is going out the 01 road, and the fire did come out Ross Canyon. And that's, again, it's uphill here, so that will tend to move the fire more up towards the Sugar Fire scar from this year. The concern is that if we do get some more winds that want to wrap the fire down around on the east side of the Dixie Valley. So those are the two areas here that are a concern from a fire behavior standpoint. This will continue to fill in up along the upper edge here. And the other point up here is the fire right along the escarpment sitting above 395. We are looking at some potential more westerly winds, a little bit more gustier that we have not had since that fire's been sitting up there. So a lot of work's been going in there, but that is going to be something that we'll be watching with the weather and where that fire's sitting up there. So like Jack said, for the next 2 days, we're going to see very similar to weather that we've had the last couple. And the big concern is where the fire will be when we starting in the cold front with the much stronger winds that come in. So that should be it for fire behavior. Thank you.
Thank you, Tobin. We'll now be presented with a video for you from the West Zone featuring Operations Section Chief Tony Brunell.
Good evening. My name is Tony Brownell, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1, operations for the west zone of the Dixie fire. For tonight's update, I'm going to start off in branch 9. Looking very good in that area. We're doing a lot of mop up. No calls for service in there today. We did have one island in way interior start to burn out. We monitored it, no issues. Moving up into branch 13. Fire became active on bottom of Reeder Ridge or Reeder Mountain. It's burning, but it's kind of burning back into the main burn, so there's no issues. We worked 6 Type 1 helicopters in today, kept it in check. The crews continue to build line to build the box to keep it into the Lassen National Volcanic Park. No issues. We almost have our other line completed all the way in there to box that in to keep it from going to Old Station. We're looking very good in that area. Moving into branch 16, a little bit more of a challenge today. The winds were real shifty from east, northeast, southeast. It just kept on moving around, and it kept on pushing on this line right here. We got several spot fires over the line, but we're working with aircraft and ground resources. We were able to keep them all in check at this point. No issue or to Highway 44 yet, but it's a little touch and go in there right now, but I think we're making great progress. Moving down Sierra Tango down on the A21 road, looking really good, no issues. Very minimal call for services down in the Almanor area. We did list some evacuations in this area today, but we expected more calls for service, but we've been pretty good. We're still working on the dry wet lake bed down there below Westwood. It is going to take some time to get that out. It's like a peat bog. It's a lot of deep organic material. It keeps on wanting to come back to life. We're working at every day, keeping that in check. No issue down below Susanville on the 36 corridor. Moving down to Janesville, looking very good in Janesville, no issues. We have a lot of line down there, holding that in there. We're working around the structures. We're hoping to lift the evacuations that very soon. We're still working on it to make it safe. The issue about lifting it too soon is the fire coming up here out of the Davis Lake area. It continues to be very active on the south end of it, as the east zone will explain. And this whole side over here we have line on it. We're plumbing it, and we're starting to mop that up so we don't get the fire pushed back into Janesville or the Milford area. On the 395 corridor, the fire is about halfway off the escarpment towards 395. We have lines going down both sides of it to keep it in check, so if it does want to run down to 395, we got it boxed in on all sides. Those lines are in progress. We're expecting some weather later in the week that's going to challenge that, but I think we're going to be ready for it when it comes in. We have a lot of resources stacked under to take care of that issue if it does arise. Thank you.
Our next speaker from East Zone Operations Chief, Ian Satterfield.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to say we just finished up briefing the night crews, and they're headed out for another good night of work. They're poised and ready, but I'll give you an update here on what occurred today. So working out here in Branch 25 in WW X-Ray, we had crews out there and engines patrolling, mopping up, looking for hot spots. They found very minimal any kind of heat in there, so things are looking really, really good on our back door. We'll continue to patrol and mop up that area back there. Working up on top here, we still have crews in the Dyer Mountain area, still doing patrol, mop up, and attacking any kind of smokes that appear. And like our West partner said, we're up here also assisting with that other little piece up here at the Mount or Meadows Lake area, assisting there. Coming around into November on the top side, we have crews and engines patrolling. We're still have folks going into the Wilcox cabins area, making sure that there's no heat in and around those cabins, and making sure we're good there. Working around here into the Janesville area, which is our division uniform. Our lines are in place on the north and the south end. But we still have that heat that's sitting up there in that Devil's Punch Bowl. The terrain that's in there is incredibly steep, difficult. So our plan in there is really right now we're holding it, monitoring it, making sure that it kind of stays in check with aircraft. The crews are improving the lines that are in place so that once the weather and forecast it gets into a good realm, we'll look at other possibilities of how we're going to deal with that to protect the fire from coming down here into Taylorsville. But until we're able to address that, there's still a threat of the fire. Working over into the Genesee Valley area. We had quite a few boots on the ground in there, working around the structures. The goal in there for them was to get 100 feet of mop up around the structures. And so things are looking really good in there. Working down into Romeo, which is down this Grizzly Ridge. We have boots on the ground all the way around as it ties into Davis Lake. And like the weather was saying in fire behavior, we had the east wind on it that tested that line. We had no issues, no spots outside the line, so things are looking really good along here. So big success for us right now with this piece of line. Working around into Quebec, our line that comes up over the ridge. We had folks in there today mopping up, patrolling, getting some depth in there. That again has held for the last 2 days, and things are looking good right there. Continuing back into Quebec, we had, like fire behavior said, we had 2 fingers that pushed out last evening. The night crews were able to get some dozer line in, and we were able to lock in this piece on the Coyote Hills area from the 117 back into the black on the line. Everything there held today and looks really good. It did obviously fill into this little pocket in here, but there was no issue to the line. As we come around the horn, we did have a spot fire that got out and got established out on that Horton Ridge and is increasing in size out there tonight. We have the night crews heading out there tonight looking for any opportunity to be able to try and go direct on that. And we're hoping as the night comes on like it did last night, the fire behavior started to become a little bit less, and we were able to get in there and go direct. Kind of the same thing as we get up into above the 01 road, kind of at the top end of Dixie Valley, at the corner there of Ross Canyon. Fire did come down to Ross Canyon. We attempted and worked hard to try and catch it on that Ross Canyon road. We're unsuccessful. It spotted over and got itself established on the other side. So folks are in here, and we have structure protection in Dixie Valley, and everyone is in here doing structure protection and structure triage. Working around to the top on the escarpment. Again, we're working with our partners to the west. They've got the Milford Group and I forgot the name of the group, and I apologize. They're working in conjunction, and we've got good communication and plans for if the fire does decide to come off the escarpment. Some more good work really got done on the north side. We were able to come from the 117 all the way back to the 0-1. They tied that in with dozer line. We had crews in there plumbing that, putting hose down on the ground, and working to mop that up and secure that. We did have our structure protection out, and they were again working up in the Grizzly Heights area, doing structure protection and triage, as well as up here in the Dixie Valley area, like I said before, and then also looking at coming up with plans and opportunities to come up with alternate lines and contingency lines to start putting in place in case this thing continues to try and move down into the south. With that, end of report, and everyone have a good evening.
Thank you, Ian. Our next speaker will be from Plumas County Sheriff's Office, Chandler Pay.
Good evening. My name is Deputy Chandler Pay. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Plumas County Sheriff's Office and Office of Emergency Services. Today, we made some downgrades in multiple zones across Plumas County. So a couple orders were reduced. That was the Canyon Dam area, the Harkness Mountain area, and the Warner Valley area. Those areas were reduced to a warning. So as folks do return to those areas, we caution you to just make good judgment calls when returning to those areas. There are still some hazards that could exist. So just be cautious when you're returning into those areas. Firefighters could still be working in the area, so we want to caution you on that. Drive with your headlights on, stuff like that, just to make sure you're safe and they're safe going back in there. A couple warnings were lifted today as well. That was an area north of Canyon Dam, towards Dyer Mountain, Indian Falls, Round Valley, Eastern Indian Valley area, the Diamond Mountain Road area, Lone Rock, and the area of Fruit Growers Boulevard. So those areas, again, were lifted off of their warning. Yesterday, we made a little bit bigger lift, and that was the community of Greenville. So community of Greenville was affected very much so by the Dixie fire, and we want the public to know when they're going back in there that a lot of the essential services are gone and non-existent right now. So we want you to be aware that there is limited services available in there. The Evergreen Market is working diligently and quickly to get back open to provide you that service. However, we want you to know that there is no internet service in the town, no landlines, restaurants, gas stations, the pharmacy, and many other essential services are no longer available. So we want to caution you about that when you're making your decision to repopulate that area. Additionally, to assist with those individuals who still have structures standing in the area and are returning home, we understand that garbage service is not being provided at this time, no roll-off service. So what we have done in coordination with the California Office of Emergency Services is we have placed several dumpster locations throughout the community so that you can utilize them for your household trash. We do ask that while you're utilizing these dumpsters for your household trash, you try not to overfill these dumpsters, try not to fill them with stuff that's been accumulated around your property, and also please not fill them with hazardous items such as vehicle batteries, solvents, paints, gas, and other items such as that. At Greenville High School, we have established a location that residents in the area can pick up potable water. So that includes gallon jugs along with bottled water because the water from the Greenville area is still not safe to drink at this time. For a current evacuation map, we encourage you to continue visiting community.zonehaven.com, and you'll be able to find our current evacuation map at all times to see what areas are still under warning and orders. We also want to remind folks that are going back to their residences and that are still waiting to go back that DTSC cleanup is still underway. This is the phase 1 removal of household hazardous waste. You can check the progress on this by going to the plumascounty.us website, going under the Dixie Fire tab and clicking on recovery and damage. There'll be a link under that section to provide you with a map that you can track the DTSC progress and check to see if your property has been completed or not. Again, you can do that by going to plumascounty.us, going under the Dixie Fire tab and clicking on recovery and damage. As the incident mentioned earlier in their briefing, they're doing a lot of work in the Dixie Valley area. Some structure protection obviously is going on, and we have full confidence in them that they're doing a great job to do everything they can to protect the structures in that area, and we thank them for that. We also want to encourage you to please continue to follow us on Facebook at the Plumas County Sheriff's Office for the most current information, and also going to plumascounty.us under the Dixie Fire tab, where we have posted a multitude of resources for those of you who have been affected by the Dixie Fire. And for those of you who have concerns for friends, family in the area, you can find a lot of our current information on there, such as our current evacuation order form. Any press releases that we've released for the incident are also in that section, and maps regarding damage are also in that section as well. Looks like a question just came in. Give me just a sec. Looks like there's a question asking about evacuations in Sierra County. We have been in cooperation with the Sierra County Sheriff's Office, and to my knowledge, in relation to the Dixie Fire, Sierra County has not issued any evacuation orders whatsoever in relation to the Dixie Fire. Whether they have any other incidents going on in their county, I can't speak to that. So I would encourage you to reach out to the Sierra County Sheriff's Office for that concern. In closing, I would just like to encourage the community to continue and support each other. Remember that just because these warnings and orders are being issued doesn't mean that some community members don't still need support. This is going to be a long recovery process for Plumas County, especially in the Greenville, Indian Falls, Feather River Canyon area. And we just want to remind you to continue supporting your friends, family, and neighbors, and don't forget about them in this time of need, even in the time that they're trying to go back. And I think that's all we have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Next, we'll hear from our agency administrator from representing the Plumas National Forest, Steve Hottenbach.
Thank you. It is great news to hear of evacuation warnings and orders being lifted, but we also recognize that so many members of our community have been affected, have lost homes or damaged homes during this fire. We did want to repeat the availability of a resource on the National Forest that may suit the needs for some evacuees. We have multiple campgrounds available where evacuees could camp in the area of Meadow Valley, LaPorte Road, and the Lake Basin Recreation Area. These campgrounds are free of charge. For information on that, you can contact the Dixie Fire Information Line. I'm going to give that number, which is 949-573-5702. Now, this is primitive camping. There's no services available here. And due to the current fire conditions, campfires are not allowed. That is one reason we currently have a region-wide order in place here in California prohibiting public access to the National Forest because all of our fire resources, of course, are out suppressing these fires, as you've heard today. So we want to limit the risks for natural ignitions or human-caused ignitions out there. But we do want to make sure these campgrounds are known to be available for evacuees if that meets your need. Again, that number is the Dixie Fire Information Line, 949-573-5702. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Now we're going to see a presentation of a video from Agency Administrator representing the Lassen National Forest, Deb Bumpus.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Deb Bumpus, the Forest Supervisor on the Lassen National Forest and one of the Agency Administrators for the Dixie incident. Wanted to welcome you to this afternoon's Facebook Live broadcast, and this is from Susanville. We have the map up behind me, and just want to make sure that you all have a chance to look at that at all times so you can get your questions in the chat so we can get those answered. Been seeing a lot of questions about some of the communities on the outskirts of the fire, especially on the west and north side. So let us know if you have questions about those, and we'll address those. I also want to just address that we will have people going back into the forest soon in some areas, not all areas, but those areas that we do have folks going back home, just continue to be careful when you go out in those areas. The other thing is just to band together as a community. We have folks that have lost a lot. We have employees that have lost things, communities, whole communities that have been lost. So make sure that you are empathetic to those folks, listen to them, provide help. And so if you're some of those folks that need help, just allow people to help you as well. I've noticed a lot of businesses in town doing fundraisers. I think that's great. And if you have the opportunity as those businesses to share that information with the forest, we'll help out as much as we can as well. So again, thank you for joining us today, and have a good evening.
Our final speaker tonight will be our East Zone Incident Commander, Evans Quo.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Evans Quo, Incident Commander. On behalf of Nick Truax, the Unified Incident Commander, and myself, would like to thank you all for joining us this evening. We value your questions, and we want to do our best to answer them. So as you've heard from our incident meteorologist, our fire behavior analyst, as well as operations from both teams, the fires continue to challenge us. And it's not just the wind speeds, the variable directions, the extremely low RHs, but it also has to do with the extreme dryness of the fuels. So even though we made it through the red flag conditions when we had winds very high up in the low 30s or actually even mid 30 mile an hour range, once the winds died off, the fire continued to exhibit extreme rapid rates of spread as well as intensity. And a lot of that just has to do with the how dry the fuels are. They're record low. Think about in the wintertime when you bring in your firewood from outside and you immediately try to put it in your wood stove. If it was most recently outside, it might take a little bit for the fire in your stove to heat up and really get burning. But if you had kindling or pieces of wood stacked inside your house where it's been dried and warmed up by the the interior of the house all day long and you throw it in your wood stove, it burns readily and almost immediately. That's the situation we're in right now with the wildland fuels out there. They've been cooked all summer long, starting going all the way back into May and June when we started getting a lot of those record temperatures, driving out just any little last shred of moisture inside them. So our fuels are extremely dry, and it's going to take quite a bit of a weather shift, a lot higher humidities, precipitation to really bring about any difference. So we're going to continue to be challenged. There's no question about that on this fire. That being said, the 3,800 some odd firefighters that we do have fighting this fire, we're persevering, not giving up the fight. And through the great work of all the folks, we are able to enjoy some successes, even though we continue to be challenged. So the good news is we're starting to see some resources coming in to replace the ones that timed out, and so that'll definitely help. And when those people come in, we're going to plug them into the mix and put them in the place where we can do the most good. But in summary, the both zones, we're still working very hard on 5 problem areas throughout the fire. So up on the far north end, on the escarpment above Hurlong Junction, that's one of our problem areas that we're trying to manage. We're also trying to herd the fire around Dixie Valley. That's one of our immediate threats to minimize impact to that community up in there. Keep the fire from moving south, so we can keep it from going into Portola. But in the event that the fire wants to keep pushing farther to the south, we do have contingency actions in place and going in right now. Up on the west zone, big effort in trying to keep the fire from impacting Old Station, and the other area of concern is keep the fire south of Highway 44. So both teams are persevering and certainly not giving up the fight. We do have a number of questions. Excuse me. Older eyes. So one of the first question is has to do with Dixie Valley. So as Ian, our operations, mentioned, we have quite a bit of fire pushing out of up onto Horton Ridge, and that's going to. Horton Ridge pretty much runs in this area, and if the fire starts falling off down in there, it could go into the valley where Dixie Valley is, and then we also have a more of immediate threat of larger piece of fire coming out from the south.
That was cool.
Coming from the north, pushing to the south. So we do have a lot of people in there associated with our structure protection group. They were in there all day, and then as well as this evening throughout the night. A lot of those folks are the OES, structure engines, so they're very good at this type of work. Our intention is to do our best to protect all those homes in that Dixie Valley area. One of the good news is from the sugar fire earlier this summer, there was a lot of structure protection done in that Dixie Valley already. So a lot of the prep work, the dozer lines, the fuel mitigation was already done. And so we were able to make use of that to really, that's why we got a big jump on getting people up in there. They didn't have to do all that work ahead of time. Another question here is about Hurlong and Doyle. So Hurlong Junction in this area right up here, and the fire is about halfway down the escarpment. And so is it threatened? Absolutely. But do we have a plan? Yes, we do. We also have a lot of firefighters in place. And then if Doyle, if I'm understanding where that is, it's farther over on the other side of the Beckworth complex fire. So for right now, Doyle is not an immediate threat. Has the fire entered Conklin Park? So Conklin Park is right about in here, I believe. So yes, the fire passed through it, I want to say 3 or 4 nights ago. And so, yeah, it's kind of right in the middle of the finger fire that went to the north, unfortunately. Are there concerns that the Coyote Hills fire could go west into the lower part of Lake Davis and Grizzly Road? So this is the fire in Coyote Hills. And are we concerned that the fire could continue going south and then come up into this area, if I understand that question right? Yes, we are concerned about that. However, we're doing our best to cut this southerly movement off, and we were able to do that. I believe we got the line established last night, and we're able to hold it throughout the day today. We've also got quite a bit of effort going on Turner Ridge up into this area, and so far that line has been holding with the great work that all the firefighters are doing in there. So. And then as far as the upper end of Lake Davis, similar situation here along this perimeter. That was burned out probably at least 5 or 6 nights ago, and we've been working on it ever since. And thanks to the lake being right there, we have a great, excellent source of water for all the hose lays that we have deployed out there. How was Lake Davis today? I believe I've answered that question. Though in truth, I would really like to be able to say it was wonderful, refreshing, and I enjoyed it, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get out there. What is being done near Portola? I think we already answered that question. We're doing our best to cut the fire off. That's moving up here from working the way south. But in the event that the fire continues to push our hand, we are working on contingency lines down in that area. But in the meantime, we also have arrangements worked out with Plumas County Sheriff's Office as far as some trigger points of when we might want to recommend.
Oh, okay. So I really wanted to point that out. He's gesturing towards Portola. He's saying we're trying to get contingency lines and stuff, so that's quite serious.
Evacuations, and we are in very close contact with that department should that become necessary.
Wow.
Here's a question: that are there new hotspots?
Wow, I don't know if I can go back just like a minute. Let's do that. This is a trouble spot.
Are there concerns that the Coyote Hills fire could go west into the lower part of Lake Davis and Grizzly Road? So this is the fire in Coyote Hills. And are we concerned that the fire could continue going south and then come up into this area, if I understand that question right? Yes, we are concerned about that. However, we're doing our best to cut this southerly movement off, and we were able to do that. I believe we got the line established last night, and we're able to hold it throughout the day today. We've also got quite a bit of effort going on Turner Ridge up into this area, and so far that line has been holding with the great work that all the firefighters are doing in there. So, and then as far as the upper end of Lake Davis, similar situation here along this perimeter. That was burned out probably at least 5 or 6 nights ago, and we've been working on it ever since. And we're, thanks to the lake being right there, we have a great, excellent source of water for all the hose lays that we have deployed out there. How was Lake Davis today? I believe I've answered that question. Though in truth, I would really like to be able to say it was wonderful, refreshing, and I enjoyed it, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get out there.
Okay.
What is being done near Portola? I think we already answered that question. We're doing our best to cut the fire off. That's moving up here from working the way south. But in the event that the fire continues to push our hand, we are working on contingency lines down in that area. But in the meantime, we also have arrangements worked out with Plumas County Sheriff's Office as far as some trigger points of when we might want to recommend evacuations, and we are in very close contact with that department should that become necessary. Here's a question: that are there new hotspots near Division Romeo, right of Greenhorn and to the right of Kronberg? So Greenhorn is here, Kronberg is here. So if you're thinking about to the right, no, there are not, and that's been visually confirmed by our folks in the aviation as well as the people working Division Romeo. You know, earlier on, we were getting some questions about this from people looking at some of the satellite detects from Modus and Beers, and I think we may have provided that explanation one night about the satellite detections for heat. While they're accurate on picking up heat, they're a very coarse scale on the resolution, so the accuracy of where they are exactly on the ground is sometimes skewed. So if you're looking at that, yeah, it needs to be validated. All that data needs to be validated. Another question here is: did the fire run into the sugar fire scar? So the sugar fire, this is the sugar fire scar from the Beckworth complex early in the summer. The Dixie fire has not yet merged with the sugar fire, though we fully anticipate in certain locations it may very well touch. This would be probably one of the closest points over in here, or maybe somewhere along this flank. And yep, I think that's probably the last question, unless we have. Oh, there's a question for the sheriff's office, so I'll pass this off.
Two items of follow-up that was brought to my attention that I needed to address tonight was talking about the ROE form, which is the right of entry form for residents with affected properties. So for those of you that have residents that were affected, you can go to the plumascounty.us website under the Dixie Fire tab, go under debris removal. You can click on the ROE checklist and then complete the ROE, which is a pretty lengthy process that you can do. So please continue to check that. There's also a phone number and an email address listed under that tab if you have any questions concerning that process. Additionally, received information from the Indian Valley Community Services District that as you're returning back into the Indian Valley area, if you find that your water was shut off, you can contact our office by calling 283-6300, and we will get in touch with the Community Services District for you to have them come back and shut your water off. Many residents had water shut off at their main line to prevent flooding on their property due to hoses, sprinklers, and other items that were left on. So again, if you return to your property and find your water was shut off and you'd like to have it turned back on, you can call our dispatch at 530-283-6300. Thank you.
Thank you for watching tonight. There might be some questions on Facebook that were not answered, and we will continue trying to answer those questions online for you. Our next meeting will be Monday, September 6th at 7:30, and we will see you then on Facebook Live.
Holy crap, that was worse than I thought it was going to be.
About evacuation.
Okay, first of all, I wanted to see what he did with his glasses. That was incredible. Didn't he take 2 pieces of his glasses and reassemble them in front of his eyes or something? I didn't catch that. It looked like they were like they came apart at the beginning of the center of the frame or something. Maybe it was an optical illusion. Yeah, when he put them on. But Portola in danger? Yeah, did you see what he did? Look, what's that? They come apart in the center. I've never seen that. Whoa. Okay. But the next chilling thing, I'm still not over it, him gesturing at, what are we going to do to... It was like a question and answer time. And it was really casual, and he's like, well, we're going to try to protect Portola. Like, what? It's a magnet? Snap-on glasses? Okay. I really thought they would have made a whole lot more progress just with the aircraft retard kind of thing, but I guess it's just taken too long for them to make a huge line. Everything went to hell in a handbasket after that grisly spot, with the with that one little ember just going, 3 or 4 miles, drifting across Genesee Valley straight into the Devil's Punch Bowl, that caused all this chaos. They are back to square one in the southeast end of this fire. Let me just see this again.
Wasn't able to get out there. What is being done near Portola? I think we already answered that question. We're doing our best to cut the fire off. That's moving up here from working the way south. But in the event that the fire continues to push our hand, we are working on contingency lines down in that area. But in the meantime, we also have arrangements worked out with Plumas County Sheriff's Office as far as some trigger points of when we might want to recommend evacuations, and we are in very close contact with that department.
Please tell us what the trigger points are. What that means is they're gonna. I hope they think about them tonight and tell us tomorrow. Trigger points is like, when will they evacuate the Beckworth Portola area? When the fire reaches X point or Y point. It'll be a spot on the map. When they said it was for the Caldor, South Lake Tahoe was going to be Twin Bridges. And to me, it shouldn't be a trigger point. It should be, and part of the snafu of telling people late to leave South Lake Tahoe and knocking on the doors in the middle of the night instead of the 5 o'clock meeting, or a couple days earlier. It should be a weather forecast. The old way of thinking is a fire should reach this point, and fires can't really travel faster than this or this and this. So if it gets here, then let's evacuate the town. No, it should be expect mega fires to exceed your expectation with speed. Expect them to raise faster than you can even imagine, or at least as fast as when we've seen last year. And well, a month ago, 19 miles in a day. Portola is not 19 miles away. So if a red flag happens and there's a north wind, I would say just get the heck out of there. I think the new, more modern thinking should be weather forecast is the trigger. Yeah, exactly. Dusty is saying with the spotting like they've done lately, that was almost 4 miles that started the Devil's Punch Bowl thing. So the fire could be like 5 miles to the north, and a heavy, fast wind could blow and bring it to the doorstep. The fire would be 1 mile away long before the rest of the fire caught up. So we'd have to look at topography. We'd have to look at forecasts, try to figure out, wrap our heads around what's the possibility of that. A lot of it is, well, topography. Members from on high can travel the most distance, and they have to be pyrocumulus cloud gives a maximum distance plus. So it's elevation, pyrocumulus cloud plus the likeliness of ignition plus wind speed, and if it's aligned with ridges or canyons. So that'll be something to really look at. That concerns me greatly. So I had seen so much done in the way of aircraft drops over there. They said that they lost it mostly here. Excuse me.
Should that become necessary?
Excuse me.
Here's a question that
Yeah, I hate that. Don't vague book us, like don't vaguely say we're going to make a trigger point. What are they? You probably already have thought of them. What are they? The public needs to know that right away. That's you could get driven nuts. Okay, so apparently
new hotspots near Division Romeo.
I'm sorry, I can't draw on the screen right now. I don't understand why my little pen app isn't working. Maybe it just doesn't want to draw on a video. But yeah, that's a development. This area right here, I could just gesture with my mouse over his right shoulder, stage right. That is where it got out of hand and passed him today, it looks like. So David Borland says, what is the weather forecast for the next 10 days in Port Portola? We need to find that out immediately. So here's the 2 things of concern. Slight possibility of lightning and thunderstorms on Tuesday for the region. We know that. We know it's bone dry. It's even drier every single week that goes by since we still have not had rain since the 6th of June. Now they're squeaking about the possibility, and like they just said, the weatherman just said in this meeting and other meetings, that coming next weekend, there might be some thunderstorms, like unstable, not very wet kind of thunderstorms. So I don't trust weather forecasts, more than a couple of days out. But the wind forecasts, as Holt Hanley was saying, are the ones that are most accurate for the rest of the week, not temperature, not humidity, not whether or not it rains. But winds can be much more reliably forecast than like general weather. So keeping that in mind, that's a new way that I'm thinking about some things. I'm just going to put the flag up here by Lake Davis. And when's the next time the wind blows out of the north? Well, tonight. The wind blows north to south, but that's like dead calm with 9, 7, or 5 mile an hour wind gusts. Not something I'm terribly concerned about tonight. It's getting colder in general the rest of the week, but looking at the forecast, not significantly. It's still 90 degrees at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. So the next time that there's a strong wind out of the north with sustained wind gusts, that would be quite concerning. And well, a little bit's tonight, but it's not strong, So 8 p.m. tomorrow, there's a slight. This is what it looks like. Okay, so my pen app must have just died on me. It's not working. Here we go. No, it doesn't work. Let me restart it. Exit the pen. Excuse me. Gotta play quarterback here and draw on the screen. Okay. There, it works now. Alright, so basically, tomorrow starting at 8 p.m. It should be thicker. At 8 p.m. But it's kind of more looking like that. It's still, not completely a north wind. It's a northwest wind kind of blowing more to southeast. But that's just forecast, right? And the same thing about, let's see, in the 19 mile an hour wind gusts. So 3 sustained 19 miles an hour gusts. 8 p.m. tomorrow. Sorry, I can't do this. So this isn't taking direct aim. And then 8 p.m. is usually when things really start to die down. By 11, it's 9 miles an hour gusts and 3 miles an hour sustained. David, Yuba City and Oroville, what's happening? Yeah, Holt Hanley's good, but unfortunately he goes to 3-hour streams, and either I can watch his or I can do mine. But yeah, he's the weather wizard. I highly recommend him. We don't have a strong north wind in the forecast, just things that kind of happen at night, which means it'll probably make an inexorable kind of a creep down towards Portola and Lake Davis, unless there's something unforeseen, because I'm forgetting something. Where's the fire to the west? Can the threat come more from the west? Yeah. There's a possibility. This map isn't quite super updated on the situation, but we have we have alignment with ridges here, and you have a big climb up from Portola, so it would get to these ridges. I bet that might be their trigger point. I really don't know what their trigger point would be, but I think fires love to race along ridge lines and canyons and up hills. And then there's the barrel of a gun here. Canyons that will funnel wind speed. Like so. But that would be like spot, 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 spot on the way down. But it could be like this. Spot, spot. Just depends on if there were high winds. I don't see terribly high winds in that forecast. And thankfully, when the winds shift towards the south, it's generally in the evening where we have the things calming down. Billy Zanism, yeah, at least it's not in the afternoons. You don't want to see that in the afternoon. And the evening, that's way better. Billy Zanism, if someone wants to evacuate, they're having a hard time getting time off. They could always come down with COVID symptoms, which means they'll be required to take time off. I never thought about that. Yeah, I've clearly lost my sense of smell, therefore I can't work. I need to get my affairs in order and help prepare for evacuation. Yeah, that's a very good point. I like your style, man. Do what you gotta do. Nobody said, I lost everything. I didn't have time to get my stuff out. My cat died in the house and my horse is missing. But you know what? I'm so glad I didn't lose that crappy job I had. I'm so glad I kept reporting for work, It's a fire. Take care of yourself. I'm just concerned not about the weather at this point as much. I'm concerned the fact that they don't have a lot of lines and a lot of time with sometimes the rate of spread with this stuff. So yeah, I'm a fan leaving early too. So I would be aware and I'd be watching tomorrow and watching the weather like a hawk to see if there's any change. At the first sign of anything red flaggy, high winds, extremely dry, and we still do have really bad humidity. We've got like 9% daily humidity, which is really bad. But it's winds that do that long-range spotting. There's some time now if the long-range spotting doesn't occur. They've got some days ahead of them. But if we have lightning Tuesday and just there's that mixed bag, and look at the Wednesday and Thursday thunderstorm thing. At least Wednesday and Thursday, the gusts blow it towards the northeast at 24-mile-an-hour wind gusts, 29-mile-an-hour wind gusts, 2 p.m. Thursday. Just that's pretty long as far as forecasts go. Yeah, I would say if there are strong wind gusts coming out of the north with some sustained winds behind them, then I'd be concerned. So we just watch this one. I don't think people need to leave now. I don't. I'm still feeling good about Kingsbury and stuff too on the Caldor. I think they're making the right call on those. I don't see anything super alarming that would make me real concerned. I just sat up in the chair when he talked about that because I assumed that they were making better progress in this at this point in time. It didn't bring it home until he just did that gesture, and they lost a little bit more of things over the lines like he explained. I was unaware that was happening today. So Billy Zane is also thinking about why there were no deaths in Greenville. How is that different from Paradise? Answer: wind event, limited egress, unexpected ignition. Right, and people are compacted in Greenville, and they could clearly see out the window what the heck was happening. Paradise has a wavy up down kind of a subtle hills, and you can't see the horizon from one moment to the next. Plus that was extreme long range spotting that took everybody by surprise. But the lesson is here, just like you're saying. The lesson of Paradise needs to still be learned. They had a trigger point for Concow. We will evacuate Paradise as soon as the fire reaches Concow, and it skipped Concow long range spotting. That was like 6 miles, 6 or 7 miles away. But that was the Diablo winds, the Santa Ana winds, the 75 to 101 mile wind gusts. We don't have that here. And there's a big ridge. This is something heartening right here. There's a big ridge up here above it. I don't remember too well, like myself, going to Portola. In fact, I should refresh my memory by going to Portola. Now, the embers spotting from elsewhere. Oh, the train museum. I remember that. The snow train. Yeah, okay. Let's just get an idea. Looking down from like the main street, what is that? Can you really see above you anywhere? I want to get a 3D idea of just what's above. Is that apparent at all? No. I mean, the Portola cam shows a lot, but what I think we have a little bit in the favor is this ridge, and I would think a long range spot would just kind of land on it. It would like land on it to go all the way over. I don't see that. I don't see a high peak that would particularly do that. I would see a scenario something like this, getting here and then kind of going down a wind tunnel and ouch, that kind of thing. Okay, I just got scared out of my mind by the stupid headset losing its battery charge. And so with that too, I'm gonna go to sleep too, because I just almost jumped out of my skin. I've been awake since 11 p.m. last night. So Rated says a wall of fire rolls down a 1,000-foot slope onto a town. Yeah. Not one home lost. Well, that happened at night. The Midnight Miracle. The fire approached that place at night. And like I keep saying, tiny communities, they're very compact, survive way better. and some spread out sprawl. And Paradise was a spread out sprawl. So Portola's pretty dang compact, and it's got it for it. But it does have a couple barrels of guns looking down at these canyons. It's a bit more of a gradual slope. And I don't think anybody has to leave right now. I think everybody should be pretty prepared. I mean, why wouldn't you be? I just don't know where the heck is safe anymore around the Dixie. It's like, well, where are you going to go? Like Quincy? Quincy's looking a little better. It's not out of the woods. Neither is Taylorsville quite yet, as they were gesturing on the map. So this is a wait and see, check in. We check in with the weather. It's favorable, mostly for the rest of the week. It's favorable, just like it was last week, blowing mostly away. This is a big wait and see game. So, yeah, exactly. Caldor Doctor says Grizzly Flats is another example of homes spread out, many lost due to it. Yeah, it's when people said I'm terrified for strawberry, I said I'm not. They had a long time to prep it. It's compact. 50 had already been violated so many times that, well, a lot of 50 had already burned. So there's a lot less likely that there'd be something roaring down the canyon corridor that they'd have to like flee from strawberry, and they did their backfirings and they did good work. So I was much more worried for something like South Lake Tahoe and Myers. Little communities up on the hills, hard to reach one way in, one way out. Firefighters don't like to position themselves in a death trap. But when I looked at Strawberry, I figured they'd do the Taylorsville defense. Small community, you can, with enough time, rig up every single structure for some water. So I'm uneasy. I'm pretty concerned. But I'm not scared for Portola like I was for things directly in the path of consistent wildfire. I mean, the winds consistently during the day blow like this. It is a nighttime sleepy winds that do this for the foreseeable future. So it made me sit up, maybe pay attention. I would think that everybody should be quite aware and quite ready to go at a moment's notice. Now you have, organize certain citizen fire watch patrols. Absolutely. When these things get closer, go around and look for the smokes. Call them in. Help the people. They keep asking that. Help citizens should call in the smokes that they see. Don't assume it's already been reported. And but I'd be prepared at a moment's notice. I think it's okay to go to sleep right now. I'm not issuing one of those don't go to sleep on this fire things. It's okay. We've got time. We'll look at this very thoroughly tomorrow. Every single day we're going to scrutinize that weather now. So, Billy's Zainism communities in the Thomas Fire were compact, but they were devastated. Yeah, a lot of small communities, if you get a fire tornado, like there's nothing to do. If the fire approaches at night, that's the best thing for your community. It's a lot less intense, especially during a midnight miracle, like late at night when winds and stuff are less intense and it's colder and there's a blanket of smoke on it, and fire crews can feel confident about staying and defending. But if it's during a red flag day and it's 2 o'clock and the fire's here, you gotta go. And they haven't had a lot of time to prepare, you gotta go. It's time. Time is everything. Time to prepare. What time does the fire arrive? Does it arrive at night? During a moist night? Does it arrive in the day during red flag, like a freight train? And so, Dr. TS says I'm talking about a shift in the wind that would push any fire towards Carmichael Ranch. I'm not familiar with that. Dr. TS says I would be more concerned about the fire moving down from the north end of Lake Davis towards 70 and Delacour towards the southeast, looking east and towards Portola. Yeah, I was thinking about the this ladder. This is a ladder. It's the barrel of a gun, like the Greenville had that. It's a canyon that would align and down a slope with winds, with north winds. However, the north winds are at night, and they're almost a dead calm with really mild gusts. So it's concerning, but I'm not super alarmed. I'm not advising sleep-in shifts and all that kind of stuff based on the weather forecast. It's always good to have your own radio and constantly monitor that. I mean, day after day after day, as we see where its progress is and what do the crews make as far as progress? That's going to be a huge thing too. Is what do they say? At least the east side people are straight up, and they tell you what's what. We need to find out exactly what their trigger point is going to be and why they have come to that conclusion. So they did a good job with the evacuations of Icurlum. They did it in a timely manner and when it was appropriate. They didn't do it in the middle of the night, like Fort Janesville and Mineral and South Lake Tahoe and all that. So East Zone, I trust the East Zone a lot more about what they say. Just not that I'm not trying to say CAL FIRE is like untrustworthy. I'm trying to say that they get the information to the public in a timely manner that they need. Whereas CAL FIRE, it's kind of like we are sometimes on our own as to what they're thinking. So let's do a wait and see. Let's do a wait and see. Now I'm about to lose the battery. Yeah, you're right, Dr. TS. It's the nocturnal diurnal thing. So every single day, the winds are in the favor of Portola and Quincy. It's blowing away from them. But this is just something to watch. Something to watch. At least they know about the danger and they're telling the public about it and they know. It's like now we know that they know. I just have a feeling if CAL FIRE was up there, they'd be like, what is the threat to Lake Davis? Well, obey evacuation warnings. And keep watching official sources. It's like, wait, no, answer the question. They answered it. So, yeah. Okay. What is reverse 911? Okay, so it's mostly a landline thing. But you should sign up for Code Red too. I'll explain that in a second. It's got to be Plumas County's Code Red. Most people have an emergency and they dial 911. Reverse is when 911 calls you and you pick up the phone and they say, sometimes it's a robot and says, fire is approaching. Please get ready or please evacuate now. And that was great in the era of landlines and when fires move slowly, and it's not so great anymore because now fires move so quickly, like at Paradise, they eat all the phone lines before the calls can go out, or they eat up cell phone towers. So Code Red, if you don't have a landline, is next best thing. So it would be Code Red sign up Plumas County. This is really good to have. There's two things you should do. You download the app on your phone, and you click here to register your contact information. So here is Plumas County. You have to register your phone number. Tell people about it, especially the elderly who don't, do too many things. So this is Plumas County. And you should get a notification on the app plus an actual ring, Yeah, reverse 911 says a loud alert on your mobile too. Yeah. But here, sign up for Code Red. That's the life-saving app that government agencies are now using. Now, I can explain for any other county too. You just Basically do what I did, type in Google search code red and then your county name. Most counties have code red. But don't ever count on it. Well, this is really nice. Paradise people didn't have it work. And reverse 911 failed with Janesville and Milford were to be evacuated. That was an S show. I can't drop that bomb here, but that was an S show. They waited too late to tell Janesville and Milford people to leave, and then when they went to tell them, they had to go door to door to like 10,000 different doors, literally, because reverse 911 failed. Same thing with the Caldor early on. So, yeah, and allow location on your phone. You have to do that. Now is not the time to worry about your privacy concerns. Now is the time to turn GPS and find location on your phone. So go to the settings of your phone and turn on every location option. So these apps know where you are because they're going to send it like this to all the phones in the Portola area. Ring, leave. But if they don't know where your phone is, they can't do it. It's a very good point. And code red is cell phones. Remember, if the cell phone towers are eaten by the fire or lose whatever they need to be powered, don't expect this to happen. Take care of yourself. The thing that Plumas County Sheriff said, Sheriff Johns, learning the hard way from Greenville, but at least learning, he said, Portola residents or anybody around the Dixie fire, if the plume turns towards you, if the smoke goes towards you, the fire is going towards you. Don't wait for us to call you or knock. Just go. These mega fires go with the wind, and the plume is going to go with the wind too. Yeah, exactly. Honk your horn, wake people up on your way out, bang your pots and pans, knock on your neighbors' doors. Check with them now and make sure that you have a plan with your neighbors. Some people at Paradise go out, tried to start their car. Their neighbors were already gone, and their car didn't start. Or their garage door didn't open. They went, oh crap, and their neighbors were gone. And they were yanking on that handle with all their might, trying to get their garage door manually open with the power out, and it didn't work for a lot of people. So make sure you're elderly, you're disabled, anybody with special needs especially is alert. Never, ever assume that they already know about the danger. There's a lot of people that don't look at these meetings. Make sure, no matter what kind of terms you are on with your neighbor, nobody is... I mean, who cares what the reception is? Do the right thing so you can live with yourself. Dude, there's fire danger. Can I help you? Do you need $20 for gas? Whatever you gotta do, you know. Offer somebody a ride. Tell them they can rely on you. And if anybody's plans to like not evacuate, then take down their address and hand that to the law enforcement or call them so they can do a welfare check. If you're not sure somebody got out, just maybe you forgot to warn them. Well, call the sheriff's office and say, "Can you do a welfare check?" You know, make sure people's cars can start, and don't do the thing that like, oh man, it's the middle of the night. I don't know if I can make noise. Well, I don't know if the threat is real. Make that noise. I used to be timid like that, and I smelled burning in my building one time. And it was 2 in the morning. I went knocking around on the neighbors' doors, and finally, and I went smelling the neighbors' doors. And I finally smelled smoke like through the door crack, and banged on that neighbor's door, and sure enough, he fell asleep with a kitchen fire. Yeah, code red is for cell phones. Reverse 911 is generally for landlines. However, sometimes you'll get a reverse 911 call to a landline. I'm not going to say that isn't possible, but code red is more reliable. Grizzly Road is the way out if you're at Lake Davis. Do not come down the West Street side. What makes you say that? I'm not familiar with it. That's what Dr. TS is saying. Yeah. When 6301 says I get code red calls my landline too. Oh, that's cool. So you can register both. Just do it. Register your landline and your cell phone. That's good to know that. Dusty Smoke says the Beckworth cam is further south than you thought. Yeah, that thing is a zoom out. When things can't fit in the frame, speaking of Portola, Beckworth can almost fit the Dixie fire in the frame. This has got to be ominous. So this is a good example of how you can see not much, and then it goes to infrared, and then you go, oh, look at that. You could see the flames from the North Portola cam. Look at this. Now it's zoomed a lot, but that's foreboding. Now, a reminder that, every day the wind's generally in the favor for Portola. Yeah, I'll go to it for a second. But did you see the pink glow? That's what the human eye can see. And that's what it can see in the night. This is right now. Now remember, when things are in infrared, this is what the human eye can see. We can't see heat. Right? That's just the fire's reflection off the smoke. That's why it's pink up there. And then boom. This is not the fire getting bigger. This is just the human eye can't see heat, and the camera can. See how heat is invisible until you go to infrared? Don't freak out about that. That's what happens. You always see a huge white thing because light and heat and fire is all the same to the infrared. That is now. This is a time lapse that begins at, 8 o'clock. This is the last hour. This is right now, visible from the Portola cam. So it's ominous, it's foreboding, but you have to watch the smoke. Watch these cams religiously and look out the window. If the smoke's coming to you, you should get out. That's what Sheriff John said, and he's now correct. He learned the hard way with the Greenville, and, he learned, though. He said it frankly to people last week. If he had been at this meeting, I'm sure he would have repeated what he said. This is last hour, and mind you, the cam is really, really zoomed in. You see how the smoke's going away. The fire's generally moving away. Now, at some point during the night, it might inch closer. Portola might get some smoke, but you know what I mean? Like if the column turns directly towards you with a ferocity, then go before you're told. So here's the Beckworth cam. Let's do the last hour of the Beckworth. See how infrared can see through smoke? This is the last hour. Mind you, it's zoomed in a lot. Yep, this is right now, the last hour. Now, the nice thing about this, see that smoke? The layer is settling on it. Smoke layer, they call that the inversion. That'll regulate it during the night. It'll keep that lid on that frying pan. I expect it to die down if it repeats. If the forecast throughout the night, which is a dead calm with a mild wind gust, is correct. So, Dr. T.S. says West Street will put you towards Portola, Grizzly is towards Reno. Yeah, then go with Grizzly then, okay. Always have an A, B, and C evacuation route. 3 different roads in 3 different directions that are paved. Portola seems to only have 1 road in 2 directions. So always elevate yourself to a little bit more, I'm a little bit more at risk than other communities. Plus, if there's only 1 road out of town, which there mostly is, never climb up into wilderness in a fire. You have to take a paved road, flat land out of town. I don't care if going to Iron Horse and up this way is south. That is a long climb and not fast. you you wouldn't want to take that. So this is basically 2 ways out of town, just same road. So at least it's not a big place. But let's watch this. Let's watch this. Diane sees, no one says much about how the Caldor started. Yeah, they are keeping mum about that. Yeah, they are just not going to. And I don't want to perpetuate rumor mill. The fact they're not even saying where it started is they don't want people to be taking any speculation. So I don't do rumor mill here, and I have not heard anything like. Nobody's come told me, hey, I've got information. I'm just as in the dark as anybody else. So, but I like it sometimes when law enforcement is keeping people in the dark. Oftentimes, there's always a lot of like false confession type stuff. Like even if something is suspicious, unless they say about it, that when somebody comes forward with the real information, it'll alert them and be like, this person's for real. This tipster is for real. If it's suspicious. Or if they're still trying to figure it out, which, well, they could be. They could actually just have no clue right now. That's sometimes really difficult to sift around. They'll do stuff like ask the military for satellite info. They'll ask for experts to comb over that data. Ouch. It could take some time. They'll interview people. They'll take things that may have started the fire and they'll take them for analysis and send them off to labs. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. And if they say find a catalytic converter that has a saw mark on it somewhere near the origin, they might do things like, I'm just making something random up, interview people around, like, did this happen like a week before the fire started? Is it unrelated? And a neighbor might say, yeah, somebody tried to steal this catalytic converter. That happened a week before it started. Nothing to do with it. But if somebody says, no, I thought my converter was safe, my car was safe, there's nothing wrong with my car, then it might clue them in and be like, well, maybe the sawing caused a spark. See what I'm saying? So we have no idea. It'll take time. Sometimes the investigations take a long time. It was a painfully long time for them to finally come out about just exactly what the heck went wrong with the Paradise one. Remember everybody who was saying that arsonists are running around, blah, 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 blah. Somebody was saying space lasers and blah, blah. It was just a 94-year-old equipment failed. It's painful. Yeah, Buffalo Gal lasers. Yeah. That's the default answer now. Aliens and lasers. Lizard people and mole people. Yeah. But it's sometimes good for law enforcement. Like, if somebody really has a hot tip, then they know who to take seriously. If they keep mum about what they already know, somebody else knows it too, they're like, that person's for real. Okay, Buffalo Gal, I thought you were making a joke. Anyway, Lake Springs cam. Oh, that's right. We're going to check that to see what was going on at that Tragedy Springs. This is not going to be in focus, I bet. We don't have any good cam for what's going on over there. I don't have time for that crap. So anyway, there's your Caldor. It's kind of pink in the distance. So I'm completely exhausted. I'm going to go now. And Smitty, lizard people with lasers and clown suits. Confirmed. Okay. I'm gonna go. I have to do some computer maintenance. I have to meet a friend and pass out. So I'm trying to think. Do we have nighttime mod volunteers, or should I just resume in the morning, or should I just? Oh my God, we're not even going there. We're not going there. I know what you mean, but let's not. Yeah, it was. The blaming ethnic groups thing is just such a tragedy, but somebody always does. And that's what you were talking about, which was sad, but I don't want to bring it up, of course. Nick, yeah, were you coming in here, Nick? Were you listening to Caldor? Somebody said Nick was here. Yeah. Oh, 3 Winters, I'm here if you want to keep it up at night, but it seems pretty quiet, yeah. Oh, Mom, can I please go out? Yeah. I know, Giaria. That person was just, wow. So, shouldn't talk about Sacramento like that. Wow, okay. So, I am going to rest here, and it's pretty quiet. At least we know about what to look at with the Dixie. I'm glad I saw that before just adjourning for the night. But my headphones are about to shut themselves off. Yeah, Tuesday will be a critical day. God, seeing the Thursday and Friday potential thunderstorms is a blink, blink. Oh my God. So I'm gonna rest now while I can. I'll come live whenever I can. How about that? It'll be, if not early this morning. I don't even see Nick in the chat. Oh, there you are. Wait. Somebody died and was injured about what? Okay, I totally missed something in chat. What's going on? It flew by. What? And by the way, thank you for chiming in, Dr. TS. You waited for confirmation on what? What happened? A first responder died today? Was he injured earlier in that ambulance ride on the Dixie? Holy crap. I didn't know it was that serious. Oh boy. Well, I know that Barbara said that a good friend who was working on the line at the French fire just died of COVID. Yeah. I'm dead tired. At any moment, I can't talk because my headset's going to go dead. I'll tweet, guys. I'm so sorry. And 3 Winters, thanks for volunteering. But you can rest for now at least several hours, and then I'll see about putting on the stream before I finally go to bed, or maybe take a nap and then put it on. It's all over Twitter. Oh God, I can't turn my back on anything. Let's look at Twitter then. Hang on, y'all. I should be better with Twitter, but it scrolls, and that has been making me really sick. Oh my God, that's stupid. My headphones just scared me to death. Whoa. And we'll have to look at it tomorrow, guys. I am so dead tired. I am almost micro sleeping at the keyboard. So it's time for me to sleep. I will just go live when I can, and I'll tweet about it or something, okay? Maybe tomorrow morning. I don't think I can do this up all night. It's quiet. So thanks, guys, for being here. But I am swaying on my feet, and I'm so sad to hear somebody may have just died. But hang on a second. I just closed a lot of windows with a misclick. Very sorry. The 3 injured don't seem to be part of the fatality. Okay. Oh, you got it on Twitter. Okay. All right. Yeah, good, Smitty. 3 winners, thanks for volunteering. If I go live and see you're on there, we might talk, but if I don't, then I may just resume coverage tomorrow and let the computer do something throughout the night. It's sad. You can now, Nick. You are a valued member of the team. Use your powers for good. But any moment, if I stop talking, it's because the headphones ran out of battery. The firefighter was killed while responding to the fire. Unknown how he died. Reported by Cal Fire PIO. Okay. I don't see it though, looking at Cal Fire PIO. So I have no idea what's going on. It's just somebody named Daniel Firetruck saying that Cal Fire PIO reported that, and yet Cal Fire PIO doesn't have a tweet about it. So is this real? I hope not, but it probably is. Yeah. Thanks, guys. So sorry, I'm really crashing. I'll hit the button for like and subscribe with the ringing bell if you want to know when I go live next. It's the best way to get notified. Thank you all for being here. Sad to end on a somber note, but we'll be back tomorrow. We'll try to figure out the threat to Portola and other things. So, okay. Good night, guys, and stay safe.